I'm checking my clips right now. You clip that shit, you're banned from my chat. I don't give a who you are. You are banned, right? If you better be worried.
Ban anybody that knows what I said.
He especially hates being called Squidward, which is pretty apt to describe how he actually behaves on stream.
I mean, go for yourself.
Ban people that are laughing. Ban any variation of laughter in the chat.
You're not funny.
They'll go.
You have no friends.
And then he will also do these things where, in my opinion, he's projecting his own insecurities onto others, saying, oh, you tiny dick, oh, you go touch grass, go make friends. It's like, you know, while he is a viewer watching you play a game, you're also the dude playing the game for 14 hours a day, sitting in your parents' basement. So I don't know. I think there's some give and take that could be given in that situation.
You might need a ban.
Banning anybody trying to give me advice.
Just ban him. I don't want to see him ever again.
Because of his love-hate relationship with streaming and the game, he tends to take all of his anger out on himself and others for messing up his runs.
Deserve hell. I deserve to suffer. Deserve all of it.
And we'll just say that he's absolutely dog water. He's horrible. Why does he even bother trying to do this anymore?
Yikes.
Quit forever.
Like
Quit forever. Stop playing. Quit. You're terrible.
Is back in the fight.
You're terrible.
Mind you, the most interesting aspect about all of this, right? It's one thing to be, you figure out the most exceptional thing that you're good at is playing this game and speedrunning it. It's another thing when there's two major categories for speedrunning this game, 80% and 100%, and Shift has held the world record in both of those runs since 2016 and 2017 respectively. That means that every time that he's running this game, he is competing against himself to get a better time. Now, there are other people that are competing with him. There is still some amount of competitiveness that exists within these runs that people are trying to catch up to him. But mind you, that for the past 7 years and 8 years, he has been the only one to surpass the world record over and over and over again. He is pioneering this run, and at the same time, he's chasing this imaginary dragon. He's looking for this time to get, but he's even mentioned that, oh, once I get the 41, I'm still gonna keep streaming. I'm not stopping. So he is digging his own grave and is happily jumping inside of it every time that he jumps onto the stream and play the game.
What happened to you? What happened to you? You play all day and you still suck.
I think Magic Mush has described it perfectly in regards to how Shift treats his fans and himself whenever he plays the game.
No matter how nice you are or how good your intentions are, if you criticize his art, he will argue with you, he will mock you, and he will block you.
It should come as no surprise that Shift is manically depressed from the game.
I can't do this anymore. I'm gonna hate this game, man.
Have a good time, baby. Have a good game.
And I think this leads to him burning himself out, trying to do all these different aspects related to the game. He air quote tries to build up the community and grow a larger audience for the game by doing things like documentaries about the speed run and doing tutorials for certain segments of the game. But he ultimately is investing hundreds of hours every single week into these pursuits for the game.
Yeah. I don't have an excuse for why I'm up at 12:30. 3.5 hours late. So, having a real hard time getting myself together lately. But I promise I'm trying to figure it out. I'm just working really hard and I'm having trouble fixing, like obviously lately my focus has not been streaming. I've been trying to finish that video. So I'm trying to do my best. I just need this to be done so I can focus on streaming again. It's just ruining my life. It's honestly ruining my life working on this
Like, I hate Call of Duty. Ruined my life.
video. I'm just not cut out for it, man.
He's mentioned on multiple occasions that he feels like he has to medicate himself in order to feel better. The solution is not to, well, I've been the greatest person at this game for a decade and I continue to be so maybe I'll move on to something else. Maybe try and broaden my own personal brand, because at the end of the day, at this point, Shift is synonymous with BFBB. So if he's not playing that, he's kind of irrelevant, right? But if you try and slowly build up that audience to become yourself a brand, so that for whatever reason, if the game never takes off, you still have this other pursuit, Shift has no real interest in that.
And I just passed out for 2 more hours, just like, it's just so unfair to you guys. I can't control it though, I'm just always tired now. I don't know what the hell's wrong with me. I'm just gonna stop streaming. I can't do this anymore. I can't do it anymore, man. I can't do any of this shit anymore. I can't do any of it anymore. I can't do it anymore. What do I do? I need medication. I need something to make myself feel better. There's nothing I can do.
And because of all of that, he makes no real effort to ever correct his issues and is perpetually spiraling into despair.
Why did I do that to myself? Why do I do these things to myself? I don't get it, man. Right. Because I'm a shit streamer and I have inconsistent stream times and I stream the game every single day. I'm depressed. I'm miserable when I play it. I talk shit about it. I hate myself and I hate you.
But Shift has you covered, don't worry, because he's thought about these things as well. And he can't take a break for fear that he'd lose all of his skills, or maybe somebody would move past him on the leaderboards. But I feel like, in all honesty, I think that would do him well and actually get him invested in trying to pursue or have some sort of one-on-one with somebody else. Him competing with himself is only doing himself harm, in my opinion, in all honesty.
You don't understand streaming if you think a break would do me good. I lose my job if I take a break. That's just not true. 0% true. So please don't tell me to take a break. It's just really insulting.
And at the same time, he just chooses and will not learn a new game to do. He has no interest in playing something casually. He has no interest in learning a new speedrun for a different game. He just wants to play this game.
No, I'm not learning another speedrun. No. I can't even get up on time. I can't even wake up at the proper time to stream. What makes you think I can actually handle learning another speedrun when I'm supposed to be playing this game for 8 hours a day and I'm playing it for like 5 hours a day? What makes you think I can handle that?
And once again, I want to reiterate that he has been at the top of this game for the past decade, roughly, and he has no interest in trying to pry himself away from that. No matter the health effects that he has on himself, no matter how poorly it reflects on his image towards others, including his fans, he will continue to do it until the wheels fall off. Because Shift is the main guy in the little pond that is BFBB, he has sort of developed a savior complex and gets really pissed when people don't exalt him with praise and adoration for everything that he's done for the community.
I can't stand this shit. These people are so inconsiderate. How hard I work for this community and I get nothing in return. I get literally nothing in return. I literally do this for people who have no appreciation for what I do. This is why I just hate my life. Because I work my ass off for a community that doesn't even care about anything. I need the extra time that I put in to help them. All they see is that I'm getting upset all the time. They never ask, hey, what's wrong? Nobody can ask me ever privately, are you okay? No, they just expect me to stream every day and make all these goddamn resources that people just expect because they can't do anything on their own. This community can never do shit on their own. They expect me to do everything for them.
And it's a bit perplexing to me because I personally enjoy watching on mute speedruns on the side. I think it's cool as like a secondary or a tertiary thing to see out of your periphery. But a lot of the people that are watching don't necessarily translate into being runners, right? The percentages are probably really low for that. And then if you are running the game and you're freaking out and you're yelling at your audience and you're getting angry at yourself, I don't think you're necessarily propelling or increasing the likelihood that somebody's going to take time out of their own days to build up that community with you.
All caps, the BFBB community, I made this community. I created this shit from the ground up. I was the last person playing the game except for Fuff, and he didn't care. He was just playing the game for fun.
He claims that he built this community and without him the community would no longer exist, which is probably partially true. I mean, he's the largest runner for the game. I guess the Twitch numbers would drop if he disappeared. And he also somehow, in a bizarre sense of ego aggrandizement, has taken credit for the 2019 SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated getting created.
You wouldn't be here if it weren't for me. You wouldn't be here. Rehydrated wouldn't be a game.
For some reason in his brain, he thinks that him streaming to 300 people consistently and constantly swearing and spurging out has convinced the developers to revamp this game. It has nothing to do with the increase of remastered early 2000s classics that have been remade recently over the past 10 years. It's all because of him. It's all because Shift, he pioneered that, baby, and that's why they want to make the game again, so that people can do more bing bing wahoos. While Shift has made the claims that he's interested in building the community, there was this one time that a really stupid ass disagreement happened between Shift and some other small runner.
The reason you have multiple moderators is so that shit like this doesn't happen. But the issue is, if another mod speaks up about it, they just get demodded. It's baffling to me how the amount of grudge holding and bullshit suppression he can get away with, just banning me from every single chat room he can, banning me from public Discord servers and public streaming servers and public Twitch chats. I literally don't know what to do.
They had beef in the past that left Shift jaded and left this other guy apologizing to Shift. And apparently, according to this other dude, they hashed things out, but he's come to the realization that he believes that Shift has been preemptively banning him from any discords that are SpongeBob speedrun related. So if he shows up and he asks questions or wants to understand how to do a trick, he's instantaneously banned. And he can't quite figure that out, and his suspicions go back to Shift. There was never real, understanding between the two. There was no real conclusion to this saga. But if this did happen and this was actually the result from Shift, I think it's a really great way to build a welcoming and inviting audience. That's how you're going to get your streamer career up to 1,000 concurrent viewers right there, buddy, is by lambasting anybody else who you have beef with in the past from trying to play the game that you're the man of. Yeah, you got to keep that under lock and key, baby.
And I was trying to come back to the community completely civilly, wasn't communicating with Shift at all, just sent a message in the server and said, hey, how are you supposed to set up ETG? I can't get this consistent at all. Tower helped me, and then after Tower helped me, Shift off the game.
When the remastered game did come out, he decided to play it and didn't play it for super long because he began to get furious that the new game didn't have the exact same techniques and glitches as the original copy. So it wasn't as consistent, I guess, as how he had trained himself for the previous game. And he flipped his shit about it and would go in these crazy freak out tirades relating to it.
It's over. Yeah, I told you some stupid shit was gonna happen. I told you some stupid shit was gonna happen. I told you. I said it was gonna happen. I told you some stupid shit was gonna happen. It's an inconsistent ass game. Where was my jump? Where was it? Why did I jump and then see nothing happen? Why am I not getting on this ledge, huh? Where's the target? Where's the auto target? I'm facing this thing. Where's the auto target? Thank you. And here we go. I get soft locked into a cutscene because it hits me because I can use the auto target and now I'm floating to my death. This is so fucking bullshit, dude.
But you can't just play the game for fun. It's not like, oh, well, I tried it out, guys. I'm not very good at it, or like, I don't really like how the tricks work in this game. I'm just gonna play it for fun. I'm just gonna do a let's play of it or whatever and move on with my day and focus on playing the original copy. No. He's got to tear down the game limb from limb, because whenever a developer's making a game, obviously this game, as he mentioned, was created because of him, but the developers got rid of a bunch of techniques and skills and different movement options from the game that he apparently pioneered and it has created to exist, but they got rid of it suspiciously for some reason, but he has influence, obviously.
I can't believe that shit just happened, dude. I can't believe that shit just happened to me. I know it's first off gonna take me 3 years to get a run that's actually decent to that point again, and then I know it's just gonna happen again as soon as I get there. Keep trying what? What do you guys want me to try? What do you want me to try here? What am I supposed to do? Can you imagine you can get into a speed run and you expect to have fun and instead you get this?
Whenever people are starting to criticize him for these freakouts, he always does this thing where he says, well, why don't you try and play the game?
Haha, streamer angry. You can have that happen to you and get pissed off too. Go for yourself.
Ban everybody that says I got owned. Ban that guy right there. Trying to make fun of my KD. Fuck you, dude. You come do this shit.
Which is obviously a really asinine and stupid comment. It's like, if you're doing something that is physically and mentally harming you, why do you continue to persist and then get angry at other people for calling you out while this is happening? It is just a stupid toilet spin of dumbassery.
Why do I not understand? All you're doing is jumping and pushing forward, but for some reason I just can't get it.
In early 2022, Shift made a video discussing how he won't rage anymore. However, there is speculation that he changed the title to being about dealing with depression and how to overcome that. There's speculation that the initial title was about him not raging anymore. He goes on to talk about how he thinks that people don't want him to succeed in the game, that he has this sense of paranoia that people don't want the progress of the speedrun to move forward.
Set out to achieve a time that I thought was going to make me feel, you know, whole and happy. I've talked openly on stream that I've been really sad for a long time, and I thought that doing that would make me feel better. And just in a ruthless, reckless manner, I went ahead and sat here every day for 14 hours and pursued this time until I got it in the most spectacular way possible. I'll do it, but it was something that people, I don't think, were really, they didn't want to see it happen, and it just took me to the literal brink, rock bottom.
Rock bottom.
To realize that I was about to lose everything.
He proceeds to follow up and cry about it. However, at the end of the day, he wants to try and garner favor from his audience and get them to come back and not feel afraid, as he was putting it, to come into his chat and interact with him.
Let me try to have a stream schedule again, instead of just streaming whenever I want, justifying it by the fact that I'm streaming for 14 hours a day. It's no excuse for just streaming whenever I want. This is a responsibility. You guys depend on me to come home after a long day and hang out. The game deserves so much more than what it has. This is one of the best games ever made, and hardly anybody's watching it these days, you know?
He says that he won't scream at the game ever again and guarantees that this game will eventually have 1,000 concurrent viewers someday. So let's see how that really shakes out for him.
I can't help the way I feel about myself, but you guys make it better. You guys make it a lot better. I'm not gonna yell again, not just for you guys, but I'm also afraid that I'm gonna hurt myself again. I'm never gonna raise my voice at the game again. Just wanted to have 1,000 people here watching the game someday. Someday it'll happen. A game this good isn't being held back. It's being held back by me.
One of the most notable mainstream interactions that Shift has had, maybe not directly, was the fact that Charlie Moist Critical actually reacted to his documentaries about speedrunning SpongeBob.
And I haven't seen the second part, and I was talking to Shift, and he said the second part is the one that's like his pride and joy. So I thought it'd be fun to just do the whole thing again. Bikini Bottom has one of the most interesting fucking speedrun histories of any game ever. It's so wacky, and not many people apparently know how crazy it gets, so I thought this would be a really fun one.
There are only 2 documentaries out so far. To my understanding, there's supposed to be 4, and it has been multiple years since the last part came out, and it doesn't look like there's a continuation or an end in sight. I think it's also worthwhile to mention another controversy that happened very recently with another popular speedrunning related content creator, Summoning Salt, where Shift basically mauls over the fact that he doesn't like Summoning Salt, probably because he hasn't gotten any adoration or appreciation for the game that he plays from him, and at the same time he takes that out in the sense that he doesn't like Summoning Salt's videos because they take attention or they take viewership away from the streamers and focus it on himself or something. It was a really convoluted and bullshit argument in my opinion, so I won't delve too much deeper into it, but it's worthwhile keeping in mind. So 6 months after he promised to be better, he decided to do a subathon, which lasted over 2 months, made him the 18th most sub person on Twitch, made him roughly around $150,000 according to projections, and caused a slew of controversies.
You have to do these fucking subathons to make ends meet, and people do the turkey shit when they give you 10-cent subs to sit and do tubby concert in a Teletubby outfit. I'm never gonna raise my voice at the game again.
Unsurprisingly, he had major freakouts during the entire run and blamed the fans for not donating enough, and believes that if he played Mario, he would be much more well respected and the cashola would just be flooding it.
And now on top of this, I got people coming in here telling me I'm shit at games. Why did I do any of this? Can we just go back to the days when I could just like stream something that I was passionate about and be able to make a decent living off of it?
This is the last hurrah. If I failed this, I die. I die in bed alone.
No, we can't, because you all take that for granted too. You'd be dumping the subs on me if I were playing 120 star. But no, I chose the Yellow Man game.
He got tilted multiple times during the subathon over people waiting until the final seconds to increase the timer. He would call everyone stupid for wanting to do that, and I think it's a really stupid argument on his own part, because half the fun of whenever you're doing a subathon is to watch the timer slowly tick down and people try and keep that number alive. So of course they're gonna wait till the final seconds to stockpile a bunch of money and shoot that score back up. But you know, Shift didn't like that idea because that potentially jeopardized the cashola coming into his pocket.
Because I don't want to hear it. Like, I don't want to hear it the day after this ends. Like, I wasn't ready for it then. Like, I don't know, man. Like, what more can I do? I've warned you about all the pitfalls like 1,000 times. Like, you know it's about to end. So it doesn't work very well when people are just never letting it go over a minute. That's just crazy, dude. You guys have all the tools you need to not let this end if you don't want it to end. So what's with the edging? If you want it to end, that's one thing, but like, it's so whack. It's such a stupid strategy. It's legitimately a stupid strategy if you want it to keep going.
He would even go on to say some really outlandish things, like telling people to go get a job so that they can give him more money so that the stream can last longer.
Oh, you want to stop edging? Get a f***ing job and give me money.
You won.
Like I'm tired of I'm tired of all this shit, man. I'm tired of people complaining about people not giving money.
Like all troll questions, any money questions should be on the back of $10 bills.
He would also tell people to cancel their subs and resub so that he can get more money and so that the timer will go back up.
If you want, I appreciate you continuing your sub, but you can only you have to cancel your sub and then continue it for that to work. Under 10 seconds, yeah, you got to cancel your sub and then continue it. 5 seconds. You guys are so stupid.
Either subscribe, donate, or get the fuck out.
Whenever anybody would call him out for e-begging, he would get super mad and start calling people out for bringing up extending the timer, but he's just trying to be a helpful businessman. He's the used car salesman down the street of, well, if you buy now, I'll knock $100 off of that bad boy.
It's 5 subs. 5 subs and we get 50. 50 with a 2-minute multiplier. We just need 5 subs. 5 subs in like a minute. We straight up have like a minute, guys. We straight up have a minute. Do you think this is begging? I'm telling you guys how to save money. If I wanted to make more money, I'd let you guys drop the combo and then I get the 50 when it's worth a minute and then we get more subs to get the, like, you don't understand how math works. Like, if your IQ is that low, you should not be chatting.
It has a bed.
I'm begging you guys to save money. Yeah. Jesus.
That's the type of persuasion he was trying to do. Now, in my opinion, if you've never watched a subathon before, I think the whole point of these things are to do fun and interesting events that you might not typically do and interact with your audience. The whole goal, in my opinion, not to see how much you can milk them for what they're worth. It should be more about interaction with the people that are supporting you than, come on guys, where's the donations? Come on, where is it? Notable fence rider Ludwig even commented on the subathon that Shift was doing, and he claimed that he was upset for doing unethical things during the subathon, which are mostly correlated to him constantly asking for money, constantly asking for more subs, which led Shift to have a meltdown and say that Ludwig was gatekeeping the subathon.
Opinion that making money is evil, are making lots of money themselves. Like, what popular influencer did you hear that opinion from? It's like the people who actually are struggling to make money and aren't just getting hundreds of thousands of dollars a month are forced to just be like, oh, I can't make money because the big guy who makes money says making money's bad. It's literally gatekeeping.
Since Ludwig himself did a subathon about a year prior to Shift's, that Shift's became more successful than his. Now, there have been a lot of speculations, rumors going on about how Shift's audience, who averages between 300 and 600 viewers a stream, was able to get 30,000 subs, and it seems like there were some really big whales in the mod community just throwing cash at him non-stop, and potentially some of these donators were going thousands and thousands of dollars into this event.
It's like he left Twitch and he did his subathon. Great, we're all proud of him. He did a great job, but he doesn't have to fucking like come back here and be that way, you know what I mean? When was the last time Ludwig reached out to me in the past 3 years? No, of course, he's just here because he's jealous. I couldn't get 30,000 subs when I had 300 viewers, which, by the way, we were averaging like 600-700 when we had 30,000, okay? Like, let's just be fair. If we were averaging 300 viewers, I don't think the subathon would still be going on. Like, what gives you the right to make your money? The thing, right? This is just like the moral grandstanding Olympics that go on now. Because I do something, everybody else has to do it, or you're immoral. Because Ludwig paid his mods to do a subathon, overnight. Everybody else has to do that.
The last controversy I want to mention for the subathon was at one point during all of these people waiting for the timer to tick down to the final seconds, it actually hit 0.
That's a processing error. I'll let that slide because it was 10, like, seriously. Guys, I'm not happy with that. I'm not happy with that. You guys see? This is your last chance. Your last chance. I'm not happy with that shit.
Yeah.
Do you see what just happened?
It went to 0, we saw it on stream, and then it shot back up instantly after that, and he should have technically ended the stream and said the subathon's over, sorry guys, you didn't make it, but instead he proceeds to berate his audience for allowing it to get that low and continues to do his stream afterwards, which is kind of funny. Now, I mentioned earlier that there's a group of detractors that have begun to spring up in the Shift community. They mostly post Shift rage videos and garner a couple hundred views per video. We've also begun to see that they're getting exposed for being the true degenerates in this situation. Shift most certainly is a man-child who revels in his own misery in order to make money, while also crying and complaining that he has such a tough life and is trying to make ends meet with playing his Bing Wahoo game. However, as we will slowly see, the main leader of the detractors is quite the degenerate. I'm not going to talk about each and every detractor. I'm going to focus on the main one. His name is XDefiant, also going by low tier Shift for some reason, even though low tier God has nothing to do with Shift. He is a Brazilian, non-binary, lolicon, or at the very least, hentai enjoyer, who spends hours and hours of his time clipping Shift streams and restreaming his streams to make about $350 a day.
It's laughing at me, bro. I'm literally earning money by making fun of you, bro. I'm literally earning money by making fun of you, bro.
This community constantly tries to play the gotcha game on Shift for the things that he has said. They've tried to accuse him of supporting an infamous BFBB speedrunner who turned out to be a creep.
And Sin, even though Sin touched kids at the end of the day, he still cared about the game. That's why he was successful. Nobody wants to support somebody who doesn't care about them. Okay? Like, you can be as good at the game, you can find as many strats as you want, but it doesn't matter at the end of the day if people can tell that you don't care.
Even though with context you understand that Shift was trying to say that this creep was very passionate for the game and helped pioneer the community from him being passionate about the game. He was not outwardly saying that he supports this creep for being a creep. Shift was at the forefront of banning this guy from the community and removing his name from the speedrun leaderboards, but the detractors want to carefully leave that segment out.
And then he takes the clip of me saying that Sin, despite turning out to be a creep, he still cared about the game. That's the reason why he became popular. And just like completely stripping that from context and saying that like I'm complimenting Sin. Like at this point, I'm the reason why Sin's still banned, dude. Like keep that shit out of here. But, you know, of course he's gonna take that and just like spin it. He's gonna try to make it look like I'm like praising somebody for being a pedophile. It's like, it's so funny. You're trying too hard, little bro.
That is one of the biggest issues that go on with all of these detractor communities on every locale that exists out there. You have to be fully honest and fully show what is actually being said and argued. You can't chop up little pieces of segments and outwardly say, well, this is just who he is. This is just what he does. That is going to make you guys look like assholes because that's how you're behaving. A much more innocuous moment where they tried to extrapolate former Shift events to be more prevalent than they actually are was when one time Shift mentioned that he pissed in a bottle during a speed run so that he didn't have to get up and use the bathroom. But the trolls took that and they basically said that he is exactly like Ethan Ralph, where he's just pissing in bottles and storing him under his desk so that he can be slovenly or lazy or something.
Obviously, like, hear that shit and think that I like said anything like that. A piss jug, yeah, okay. Like, they literally make this shit up, dude. Like, where is it? A piss jug? What the f? The fact that he's like lying about like a piss jug. Oh, because I said like that one time 5 years ago when I was doing SBA and like SBA had like a 2-minute wait on it. I peed in a jug in the middle of my run so I wouldn't lose my run. Like, I did that like one time 5 years ago.
It mostly was a one-off story to my understanding that he did this, but they're gonna try and make it seem like he's this gross degenerate that's pissing all over his basement floor. Now, if you're gonna be a troll like this and you're gonna try and make accusations about people and really try and take somebody down and build a community around it, I would highly recommend that you don't do something like have your Newgrounds page, which is full of lewd anime girls, some looking very young, doing inappropriate things, attached to your name.
Oh God, no, I cannot show any of this shit. This is it's literally all just hentai.
I think you might want to look for a different username, you know, maybe branch out a little bit. His account also included Coomer audio files, which were a delight to listen to, very nice.
Oh, what a cute
And they
little
also
creature.
followed Shadman, the infamous child enthusiast criminal. So these are the people that are going after Shift for being too angry at the game and trying to fabricate stories that he is a much worse person than he actually is. These are the people on the moral high ground. It's one thing to call out Shift for being a lazy man-child who can't control his emotions and feels entitled to people's money. It's another to make your whole personality surrounding him and proceeding to try and sell merch and make music trolling him.
Okay, so this is an album that I made due to the high demand. And since a lot of people were asking for it, here we are.
One that can get out of it. One that.
The lack of self-awareness is staggering. Take a deep look in the mirror and figure out what your honest motives are with all of this. You are not Liquid Richard and are a failed low-tier god troll who wanted to try and pioneer a new town. So stop trying to recruit 15-year-olds to join your Discord and make better content than Shift rages for the 40th time. Shift certainly has his faults, and I think falls into the lolcow coliseum. But let's not pretend like he's some sort of malicious predator lurking among us. If you've got dirt that hasn't come to light, I'd love to hear it. But as I've explained throughout this video, I believe that while Shift is a lolcow, the people, or at least the main leader that is trying to dump accusations against Shift, is probably a bigger lolcow than Shift is. They even reached out to fellow friend of the channel, Smokey, to see what his thoughts were, and he gave a very well-articulated response to people that might have more nefarious means to their true intentions.
Smokey's chibi vid. I was wondering if you guys would ever react to more cringe shit in the speedrunning community. Not lolcow stuff, much more lolcat. I actually had something I wanted to bring up a few weeks ago, but I just haven't had the time to. And this isn't the place either. I'll just tell you guys the short of it. So I made that video on chibi. Someone had commented on the video and said, hey, you need to look into this dude named Shift. And as soon as he said that, I'm like, I know Shift. Shift is the guy who speedruns SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom. And they were like, oh, he's terrible. He's this, that, the third. And I looked at this guy's channel. He has a bunch of rage compilations of the dude Shift, like just getting mad over the game and stuff like that. And honestly, the speedrunning community, they get mad over the game a lot because they play it all the time. But the dude,
imagine spending hours on one time.
yeah, right. I freak out too. The dude Shift got in touch with me, and I talked to him on one of his streams, and these guys who are like going at him, making all these rage things, they have a Discord where like to get in, you have to like explain in detail how how much you hate Shift and why you hate him. But one of their moderators is this dude whose name I believe is Jacob. And Jacob is on like, there's all these creepy Reddit things that him talking about, like, oh man, I can't wait till she's 18 and stuff. Real creepy dude being one of their mods. So when I called him out on this, they just said, oh no, that dude's not a part of us and everything. But it shows that like a lot of times people want you to get to cover people. You gotta look into the people asking, because sometimes there are a whole lot more like shit going on right there.
Yeah, they're trying to set you against someone. I've had people try to do that shit before, man. I'll look into someone and they'll be like, oh, I get what you tried to do here.
Yeah, and it was just kind of like a hate campaign to take down the dude. I'm like, the dude is a speedrunner for the SpongeBob game. Like, of course, every speedrunner's gonna get mad at the game, but don't sit here and try to convince me this guy's like some terrible thing when you got some shit like that going on in your own server. Come on now.
In the last part of this video, I want to go over this long dossier that these trolls have made about a bunch of accusations calling out Shift. Keep in mind that this is the best ammunition they have against Shift. It's nowhere near as bad as they like to masquerade this person as truly being. So I thought it was worthwhile to discuss this 9-page document that the detractors have compiled to really articulate their issues with Shift. And we'll discuss some of these things and really get to the nitty-gritty, because this should be the be-all end-all, right? This is hook, line, and sinker. We're laying it in the Shift. Mainly his narcissistic, egotistical, borderline sociopathic personality. Yeah, borderline sociopathic personality. That's just way overboard. Look at him. This is from Beanie Hat days. This is from like 5 years ago. Exposed. Horrible person. Never mind the fact that it's already been proven that XDefiant has also used that particular slur in the past. He's going to It's like, I'm not gonna sit on my perch and pretend like I'm the most perfect person ever and that I have not said some really terrible shit in my past. So it would just be hypocritical for me to sit here and pretend like, yeah, you know, we really gotta take him down for saying some bad things during a game that he's getting pissed off about. So did Shift send these people there? Did he say, all right guys, I don't like this game, let's go destroy this developer's life? I looked through the screenshots. I don't really think anything like that exists. Perhaps it isn't as bad as some other stuff mentioned in this document, but it's definitely worth talking about since it heavily affects people that watch him himself and also his streams. Now, this is one segment I will never understand, is when people want to try and police what other people are trying to do online, whether it's what they say or how they act. It's like, allow the audience, you know, it's not like this has been broadcasted on Cartoon Network for a bunch of 7-year-olds to sit around and watch. You have to consciously go and find this guy, listen to him, and say, yeah, I want to stick around and keep watching. Like, allow the audience to have some modicum of brain power to think for themselves. This video perfectly shows you how hypocritical Shift is and why you shouldn't feel bad. I don't know if hypocritical is the right word to describe that apology video. I don't think he's consciously being hypocritical. I think he just doesn't have the will or drive power to actually man up and own his actions, and instead just wants to continue to not improve himself. You can clearly see that his fans were concerned for Shift and also scared of him at the same time for all of the stuff that he addressed in his apology video. Still, this perfectly captures that Shift is not a trustworthy person, and he hasn't changed one single bit. Not a trustworthy person just because he doesn't live up to his own words and he still acts like a shitty person. Not a trustworthy person. Come on, man, that's crazy. This is hard-hitting, just reporting right there. He got it from a different time, not from this other time, even though he loses his voice semi-frequently. Context: Shift uses Satan Panel in order to, he's banned by the way, Red, he's banned, in order to expose the so-called troll/hate Discord server by getting a lot of the out-of-context messages. It's important to remember that this user was also using a message logger. He was able to see deleted messages, which is against Discord's TOS. Wow, we're dealing with a cyber hacker right now. And Shift supported that as a Discord partner. Oh my God, ban him. Shift receiving an email from Satan's panel. Shift and Jacob. By the way, Jacob's the guy who was talking on Reddit that he was hoping, he couldn't wait for those girls to turn 18. And then everybody in the Discord defended him. I'm really sorry. They were telling me too and told me how funny it would be. Yeah. This is your evidence, guys. He just exposed you for telling him to call him a Jew, and now here we are. Shift allegedly used this dude to infiltrate your server, even though your server is publicly accessible by people. Like, I could go join it right now if I wanted to. And then he took a screenshot calling you guys out for having Jacob be a moderator who was into at least a picture of a girl potentially turning 18. And somehow that's against Shift for some reason, even though you guys openly defended that guy. All right, got it. Although it's not as huge as the other stuff mentioned, Shift complained about Liquid Wi-Fi not playing BFBB anymore, thanks to the absurd one frames and etc. I couldn't find the clip right now, but it has been mentioned a few times on stream, and it only shows how Shift has literally no perspective on his own life. This is a real argument. Shift wants one of the biggest consistent speedrunners to continue to play his game so it gets more attention and notoriety, and he's upset that he doesn't do it anymore. But that literally means that he has no perspective on his own life. Alt account telling low tier Shift to game end himself. Let's see this bad boy. Ah, cool. It doesn't exist. Just follower calling someone the F slur on Twitter? No way. People online saying bad things under the guise of anonymity? That is so crazy thing, right? Like, cool. He spends too much time on Reddit trying to defend his fragile ego. Crazy. That's crazy. All right, we'll move on. If after reading all of this, you still think that's not enough proof, then the problem must be you. If you think that us taking things out of context and extrapolating it to be Shift's whole personality, then it's your problem, not ours. We gotta take him down. He's sending long paragraphs about why it's okay to watch his stuff on Reddit. Give me a break. It's easy to fall for Shift's manipulation, which I'm sure that these guys will say I've fallen for, even though I've never talked to Shift before and I did all this research on my own. Surely it was Shift's manipulation. Shift has made the accusation that iDeactivate actually was a speedrunner for BFBB in the past and stopped doing it, stopped pursuing it for whatever reasons. So it feels like he might have a personal vendetta, some sort of, crusade to go against Shift, maybe for one reason or another. We don't really know, but he really just wants to dethrone him. Shift and his community have proved once again that their group is pretty much a mafia. Holy shit, it's a mafia? This man will never learn unless something worse than his pathetic laryngitis happens to him. Is that a threat? Is that a threat? That is the 9-page document. I wanted to include it at the end, so at least it is documented and archived and you guys know what they're talking about, but I'll let you guys choose. I hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.
Breaking news! His detractors have gained considerable popularity compared to him now and are unavoidable to any current prospective viewer. Low-tier Shift, some non-binary Brazilian who single-handedly created Shift Detractorverse. The Sean Wrangler
What's wrong with being
Shift.
non-binary,
None of
asshole?
this would exist without him.
So it's been a stressful week for me, but I want to give you all a little update and say that I was able to stay in touch with my parents throughout most of Hurricane Milton, and luckily they are fine outside of being a little shaken up and going without power and dealing with some minimal damage and debris. They said that the second half of the storm, after the eye passed over, was way more intense than anything they'd been through and was way more violent than the first part, but they're fine. The same can't be said for others in the state of Florida because the storm surge hit multiple areas, leaving them underwater, and the north side of the storm inundated towns away from the coast with torrential downpours and destructive winds. But nothing could compare to the tornadoes that spun off from the southeast side.
3 tornadoes at once, just all sitting on the coast.
It was crazy.
Like the horsemen of the apocalypse.
The tornadoes that were going across highways and hitting towns that were on the other side of the state, that was nuts. Those hit areas that were previously thought to be on the safer side of Milton's path. Regardless, it's been stressful, and I just want to start the episode out with some silly stuff this week before we get into more election coverage and stuff like that.
Also, we filmed this before the big Tesla robotaxi reveal, but we'll make sure to cover it on Weekly Weird News if there's anything worth talking about. There almost certainly will be, because Elon cannot appear in public without embarrassing himself in one way or another at this point.
Will Zaslav make an appearance? We'll see.
Yeah, so by the time this goes up, you know more than us, and I'm jealous. So feel free to talk about it in the comments. But let's start this episode out with a look at a growing trend online, the LinkedIn lunatics. Now, neither of us have had to suffer through the pain of LinkedIn in many, many years. Mine has not been updated in, I believe, 13 years. You can still find it. I don't know how to get rid of it. It's there.
I updated mine after we left Machinima, but that's the last time I looked at it.
Mine doesn't even include Machinima. Wow. It's a pre-Machinima artifact.
Amazing.
But yeah, that's thanks to you kind folks who watch and support our show. We don't have to deal with that crap. But we've witnessed some of the more miserable LinkedIn posts over the years. It's a fascinating parallel universe. Sometimes it's mutuals screen capping other mutuals who have turned into such corporate bootlickers that they're almost unrecognizable.
You know who you are if you still watch this show.
Yeah. Do you feel called out? Good. Some have just gone full crypto to the point where there's no coming back, and they're essentially locked into a never-ending attempt to hype up their friends and followers into thinking that another surge is right around the corner, guys. It's basically Amway for middle-aged white dudes.
Yeah.
Some LinkedIn posts are so absurd that they make their way onto our timelines and various subreddits like r/LinkedIn lunatics. And we'll get to some of those. But this week, we're pretty sure that we saw some posts that might never be topped.
Now, one such case is Ryan Salame, and I'm going to keep calling
Ryan Salami?
Because if I don't say salami, I'm going to fuck it up the other way, so it's salami. Sorry, and you deserve it, because you worked at FTX. One such case is Ryan Salami, who had worked his way up from consulting and advisory firm Ernst & Young to become the chief of digital markets for cryptocurrency exchange FTX. You see where this is going. As you'll recall, FTX got in a little bit of trouble with the federal government a few years back.
What happened to Sam Bankman-Fried and Carolyn Ellison? Are they okay?
By a little bit of trouble, we mean that they went bankrupt after being exposed as one of the largest Ponzi schemes in history, which led to a federal investigation and the arrest of countless employees, including the company's CEO, Sam Bankman-Fried, and, you guessed it, Chief of Digital Markets, Ryan Salami. We don't really need to go over the whole FTX story, but suffice to say, nearly everyone that was heavily involved in the operations of that company has been facing or is already serving some serious jail time. Outside of his role at FTX, Ryan Salami had also decided to fund a conservative super PAC called American Dream Federal Action, aimed at backing Republican candidates who, they say, would protect America's long-term economic and national security by advancing smart policy decisions now.
And those decisions start with, come on, cutting us a little slack.
Deregulating all that crypto nonsense.
Get Sam out of his cell and back in the boardroom,
baby. A couple of pardons would be nice.
Yeah. So, Ryan Salami.
Salame? What is Salam?
Ryan Gabagool pleaded guilty to violating campaign finance laws and operating an illegal money transmitting business just over 1 year ago. In addition to paying over $10 million in fines and restitution, Salami was sentenced to 7.5 years in federal prison for his role at FTX. And apparently this week he finally reported to prison. How does everybody know this? Not through some updated article in the New York Times or the Washington Post, but because of his actual verified LinkedIn profile, where he updated it to read as follows, amidst a cheerful graphic featuring a bunch of cartoon people dancing around a cupcake with the phrase, starting a new position. Ryan Salami previously co-CEO FDM. That's the business market. I'm happy to share that I'm starting a new position as inmate at FCI Cumberland. And the FCI stands for Federal Correctional Institute. Sounds pretty prestigious to me.
Oh, FCI Cumberland? Oh, wow. I mean, my kids just went to Yale and Harvard on sports contract, so that's pretty cool.
He must be a legacy. You gotta know a guy who knows a guy to get into FCI Cumberland.
That's a pretty big deal, and it's going to look great on your LinkedIn resume, Mr. Salami.
Honestly, going from LinkedIn to locked up for financial crimes is probably the pinnacle of that platform.
I mean, it has to be. And certainly not the first or the last person to go from LinkedIn to locked up. But one of the other issues with LinkedIn, though, is that it's absolutely filled with AI bots now, and of course, plenty of spam. Especially when the profile belongs to someone who's ever been involved with crypto. So the comments section of his post, it was generally supportive, without a shred of irony. Just a bunch of people who may or may not exist typing out comments like, "Congratulations, wishing you luck in your new role. Congrats, confetti emoji. And probably the darkest of all, congrats, Ryan. I wish you many more years of celebration. Well deserved." From poster Bob Dickerman. And look, that might be a real name, but it's also very funny. And as far as this being a real post, it is. It's on his actual profile. This has been verified by numerous outlets. And also, Business Insider had previously pointed out that Ryan Salami, he has been doing the well-known tactic at this point, posting through it. He has been posting through it the entire time that he's been under investigation and facing trial. With one article earlier this year saying, as he awaits the start of his sentence, Salami is using his remaining weeks of freedom to post nonstop. The former FTX executive has returned to social media and re-entered the public discourse, weighing in on politics and crypto policy and joking about his future in prison. Since his May 28 sentencing, Salami has posted to X, formerly Twitter, more than 700 times, often dozens of times a day.
I mean, that's a prison of your own making.
Yeah.
But I feel like...
How is he going to survive without access to X, the everything app, in prison?
It's kind of almost sad that this guy is so far down the grind set rabbit hole. Like, if I was sentenced to prison and had the 6 months or whatever before I was going to be locked up for several years, I would not be spending my day posting.
Well,
I'd be outside, and if I was Ryan Salami, I'd be down at the local deli trying out those meats for the last time in a while.
But that's the thing. That's just the thing, Elliot. Once he graduates from FCI Cumberland or whatever the fuck it is, Cumberland, he'll be able to post what I learned in my 7.5 years locked up as it relates to integrated marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the book right there.
Yep.
But since we're on the topic of LinkedIn lunatics, things have gotten so bad on that site that it has spawned plenty of its own memes, most of which deal with major life-altering events and how, instead of learning anything about themselves personally, they choose to parlay the experience into a bunch of corporate jargon that will impress their potential bosses. There's this classic post that has spawned countless variations in recent months. I proposed to my girlfriend this weekend. Here's what it taught me about B2B sales. God. The post continued, listing 7 things that somehow relate to his marriage proposal, but it starts with, like a well-run sales cycle, key milestones must be met throughout the relationship to ensure a closed-won status at the end. God, you're not human.
No.
We're not going to read the entire post, but yeah, rest assured, it's insane. And it follows with, follow me for more tips.
I don't think I will.
I hope his wife is into that kind of thing.
Well, we'll see how long that lasts.
One good side effect of this insanity is that some accounts have started to absolutely nail satirical versions of these types of posts. We're not sure if this next one is real or satire, so we'll just show it first. Back in April, some dude named Tom updated his LinkedIn status to read as follows. I'm happy to share that I'm starting a new position as deceased at none. And his profile indeed reads, deceased, April 2024. Is that guy dead?
I think he's dead. Congratulations. Confetti emoji.
Officer down.
These next 2 are the best that we could find from one sole poster who has made it his mission to post the most unhinged shit on the LinkedIn timeline. So for a moment, let's sit back and enjoy a brief, very brief episode of LinkedIn Text Theater from a poster named Ken Cheng. I initially rejected a candidate's CV twice. However, when he applied a 3rd time, I decided to invite him for an interview. We offered him a role immediately after the interview. Why? Because I realized he was the brother to a mega famous pop star. Now, A year later, he's terrible at his job and costing the business a lot with his mistakes. But I get a VIP booth at his sister's concerts. Sometimes money and profit isn't everything. Status is also important.
Yeah, I don't know. That could be real.
That's why it's great satire.
Yeah, because, I mean, with these business guys, I mean, that is, status and appearances are just as important as actually shipping a good product.
The stuff I've seen posted on Twitter and on Reddit from LinkedIn would rival any brain poison poster on any social media site. LinkedIn people
it's way worse. I'd rather be hanging out with 4chan basement dwellers than these LinkedIn freaks.
It's a surprise that anyone that posts on LinkedIn daily, if not hourly, gets anything done at their real jobs. So why would anyone want to hire anyone on LinkedIn?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Anyway, here's a more recent post, and one that really caught our eye. Once again, from Ken Chang. I was giving a presentation to the whole office, and it switched to another tab abruptly. It was porn. I was mortified. Many were sympathetic, laughed it off, and said it was just a mistake, and I'm only human. I even got a few DM slides from employees who were intrigued about my habits, but I decided to keep things professional at work by not replying until I was at home. However, one employee, Jeff, came in to tell me he found it a bit inappropriate that I had a porn tab open at work. I fired Jeff immediately. I find being judgmental of others' innocent mistakes to be a major red flag, and it was a perfect way to root that out. The twist? I pulled up that porn tab on purpose. I wanted to weed out the prudes with their outdated don't look at porn at work moralism. I'd never make a rookie error like that. I've been watching porn at work for 20 years. Okay, I think Ken Chang's he's doing satire.
Yes,
that one,
obviously
that one went over the edge. The first one, but that one, I hope it's satire. Jesus.
Yeah, never make a rookie mistake like that. And he weeded out problems people aren't with the job. These are human mistakes.
Yeah.
Don't be so critical all the time.
In the age of woke,
the
age of Me Too, you got to be a little bit sly about weeding out the prudes.
That's right. But speaking of LinkedIn and how much of a nightmare that platform is, even outside of the typically cringe-inducing, though sometimes funny posts, it is yet another platform that is being exploited by AI in new and exciting ways. We all already mentioned the AI bot profiles when discussing the Salami guy's career-changing post. A recent article by 404 Media shows off one way that AI is working for the potential employees. Until everyone starts doing it, and then it destroys countless HR departments by flooding them with applications. Now, the good news is they probably deserve it. And they're probably already using AI to sift through the candidates anyway.
They absolutely are.
So this is, again, just another example of robots shitting into each other's mouths while data centers consume endless supplies of water. Anyway, here's more on this new AI bot that streamlines the job application process for you. And in some cases, they claim to have applied to 2,843 jobs while they just sat back and watched or just did anything else that is a far better use of their time, like eat breakfast or learn about B2B sales. That's business to business sales.
Yeah, B2B. Machinima was an M2M.
That's right.
We're not an MCM. We're an M2M.
What did that mean again when they switched that?
Male to male. No, it was I don't remember.
Yeah, it was a word that
they made a big deal out of it, though. God. I mean,
media to media? Member to member? No, that's space docking.
I don't know. I experienced more than enough LinkedIn culture during that period of my life.
When one of the new CEOs took over, he made everyone in the company and bought everyone a copy of The Lean Startup. And that book might as well have been a dictionary of garbage jargon terms.
Yeah, I read about half of it. I was like, this is dumb. Is this like all this stuff's like really fucking obvious.
Yeah.
This is what business people, business leaders, like, this is what they're reading? Are they all stupid?
Yes. Yes, they are. Anyway, here's that article.
Before I put my laptop aside at the restaurant I'm working at, I open a terminal window, enter a single command, and hit enter. The server gives me my breakfast, and I push my laptop away as the bot springs to life, opening a Chrome window and navigating to LinkedIn. It starts scrolling through job listings and opens a few of them. I watch the bot find a job at a company called Alpha Lion and click Easy to Apply. It enters my biographical information, generates a resume, and writes a cover letter. It tells Alpha Lion I am authorized to work in the United States, that I do not mind remote work and in fact prefer it, that I have not served in the military. It explains that I am particularly drawn to Alpha Lion's commitment to personal excellence and innovation in sports nutrition, and that I am looking forward to the opportunity to discuss how my skills and experiences align with the goals of Alpha Lion, and how I can help propel your video marketing efforts to new heights. It clicks apply. I take a bite of my toast.
Now, it continues highlighting other applications and specific things that the bot wrote, which are very funny, and they went ahead and submitted that stuff for him. Before explaining how the bot all works, which reads in part, this is Auto Job Required AI Hawk, which is currently trending on GitHub and is one of the most popular new projects there. It is actively being used by thousands of people to use AI to automatically apply for jobs on LinkedIn at scale. It is essentially a Python program that navigates LinkedIn and uses an LLM, OpenAI's GPT products and Gemini both work, to generate custom cover letters and resumes based on a series of biographical details that a user codes into a script and tweaks them as necessary based on the job description and other information that the company has put on LinkedIn. Now, he goes on to say that the bot isn't perfect, but also highlights a few testimonials that were posted by users in the project's Telegram chat.
Ran it overnight, applied to around 150 jobs. Got an HR call this morning, and I'm just getting started. Lol. I'm gonna have it run 24/7, one user wrote. Planning to apply to thousands of jobs. This time I, the candidate, have the leverage, not some random HR. I've been using the platform for a little over 3 months now, during which I applied to 2,843 roles, another user wrote. In that time, I've had 4 interviews, received 1 offer for a senior data engineer role at £85,000, and I'm awaiting feedback on another offer pending the results of a test.
How bleak is it that that person automatically applied for 3,000 jobs and got 4 callbacks?
Well, that's the thing is...
and a lot of these companies just have job listings so that they appear to be open.
That's what I was about to say. That's another lean startup pro tip is even if you're not hiring, always make it look like you're hiring.
Yeah.
Because that projects success. So yeah, I don't know the exact figure, but it's like at least half of all job listings online, there's no job. So I totally understand where everyone's coming from with just have the AI just mass apply to all these jobs, because this is so fucking pointless. Like, applying to almost 3,000 jobs and getting 4 interviews is insane.
It is. And aside from that, as we've been over with the bots talking to each other previously, this is another example of why AI fails in a spectacular way. Because now, with everything being automated, no one's talking to each other.
No.
It's just robots bouncing a ping pong ball back and forth.
Robots. Yeah.
And meanwhile, just polluting and using up millions of gallons of water in the process.
Yeah, lots and lots of electricity, ruining the world, creating hurricanes. Very cool.
Anyways, yeah, go check out the full 404 Media article for so much more detail on this topic. Links are always down in the description, and they are a fantastic outlet. But before we let go of big business and their bad ideas for the day and move on to the rest of the nonsense, let's check in with one of the biggest financial institutions, TD Bank, and see what they're up to. And surely it's nothing highly illegal or morally corrupt, right? TD Bank to pay $3 billion in historic money laundering settlement with the Justice Department.
Oh, banks aren't supposed to do that.
Ah, whoops. All right, well, here's the Associated Press with more on that. TD Bank will pay approximately $3 billion in a historic settlement with U.S. authorities who said Thursday that the financial institution's lax practices allowed significant money laundering over multiple years. Canada-based TD Bank pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit money laundering, the largest bank in U.S. history to do so, Attorney General Merrick Garland said. TD Bank created an environment that allowed financial crime to flourish, Garland said. By making its services convenient for criminals, it became high-level executives were alerted to serious problems with the bank's anti-money laundering program, but failed to correct them as employees openly joked about how easy it seemed to be for criminals to launder money there, Garland said.
What does the TD stand for? Totally Dirty Bank?
I guess so, Elliot.
That's probably what it is. They should have just looked at the name.
Yeah.
It continues. The bank is the 10th largest in the United States, and its CEO said the company takes full responsibility and has been cooperating with the investigation. The Justice Department said the bank allowed at least 3 different money laundering networks to move a total of $670 million through TD Bank accounts over a period of several years. The institution became the bank of choice for multiple criminals and money laundering organizations, authorities said. From fentanyl and narcotics trafficking to terrorist financing and human trafficking, TD Bank's chronic failures provided fertile ground for a host of illicit activity to penetrate our financial system, said Deputy Secretary of the Treasury Wally Adeyemo. In one case, a man moved more than $470 million in drug proceeds and other illicit funds through TD Bank branches, bribing employees with more than $57,000 in gift cards. He chose TD Bank because it had the most permissive policy, more than once depositing more than $1 million in cash in a single day, and then moving the funds out of the bank with checks or wire transfers, Garland said. Yeah, that's a lot of money. All bills, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not gonna ask where you came from.
You got that $250 Best Buy card, right?
We're a bank, we're not your mom. Hand it over.
I'm not gonna ask anything.
Yeah.
Come on.
All right.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Anyway, before we get to the back half of this show, let's take a second to pay the bills before we have to find alternative sources of income as well. Luckily, today's episode is sponsored by two of our most loyal brands, starting with Manscaped, the global leader in men's lifestyle and grooming. Every man knows the unbeatable feeling of a fresh barbershop shave. Now, what if I told you that you no longer have to wait weeks or even months between appointments to experience it? Introducing Manscaped's newest innovation, the Chairman Pro Electric Foil Shaver, the game-changing tool that brings the luxury of a professional shave right into your home. Whether you're after that daily silky smooth finish or prefer to maintain a rugged 5 o'clock shadow, the Chairman Pro Electric Foil Shaver is your go-to for precision and style every time. Head over to manscaped.com and join the over 11 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by using code NEWSDUMP for 20% off plus free shipping.
I use the Chairman today on my neck and my cheeks. This is a damn good foil shaver. Telling you. So what makes the Chairman Pro stand out? Well, it's all about versatility and precision. It comes with two interchangeable skin-safe blade heads. You have the skin-safe 4-blade foil for that close, smooth shave when you're looking to go completely clean. Or to keep a little scruff, just switch to the skin-safe stubble trimmer to keep your stubble looking sharp and polished. Both heads are designed with skin-safe technology to help reduce razor burn and irritation, so your skin feels smooth and comfortable after every shave, reducing redness or discomfort. A standout feature that truly differentiates the Chairman Pro from the rest is the FlexAdjust technology. This innovative technology ensures a superior shave by allowing both blades and the pivoting head to seamlessly adapt to the unique contours of your face and neck, helping you maintain great contact with your skin at every angle.
And here's something that's going to make your grooming routine even easier. The Chairman Pro is waterproof. Yeah, you can use it right in the shower. And the waterproof feature doesn't just make shaving easier, it also simplifies cleanup too. Just take a quick rinse under the sink and you're all set. The Chairman Pro, it's not just for daily shaves either. It's powerful enough to tackle up to 5-day growth, making it perfect whether you're shaving every day or just tidying up after a few days. And with up to 75 minutes of runtime on a single charge, you can take your time getting the perfect shave. It even has a travel lock to help make sure it doesn't accidentally turn on in your bag, and an LED spotlight to help you see every detail, ensuring nothing gets missed. Get the Chairman Pro today and experience a shave that is as smooth as you deserve. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code NEWSDUMP at manscaped.com. That is 20% off plus free shipping with code NEWSDUMP at manscaped.com.
This episode is also sponsored by HelloFresh.
Hello.
With HelloFresh, you get farm-fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. Make this fall the tastiest season yet with farm-fresh produce and easy autumn-inspired recipes delivered right to your door with HelloFresh. HelloFresh delivers all the pre-portioned ingredients you'll need to make easy homemade meals. All the proteins, veggies, sauces, spices, and more arrive in your box along with simple instructions that walk you through each step in the cooking process. Nice and simple for all the dunderheads like me.
That's right. I like it quick and easy. Whip up tasty restaurant-style meals in your own kitchen without the high price tag of takeout and in less time than it takes to get delivery. HelloFresh has tons of options for whatever you're craving. Choose from a changing menu of over 50 recipes each week. Plus, take your pick from over 100 market add-on items like desserts, breakfast, and snacks. Choose meals that match you and your family's lifestyle with preferences like fit and wholesome, quick and easy, or vegetarian. You will always find something to love with HelloFresh. We're busy boys, so we love HelloFresh's quick and easy recipes like this week's Hall of Fame 1-pan banh mi style beef tacos, clocking in at just 20 minutes of cooking and prep. Get 10 free meals at HelloFresh.com/free newsdump. Applied across 7 boxes with new subscribers only verified plan. That is 10 free HelloFresh meals just by going to HelloFresh.com/free newsdump. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit.
All right, back to the news now. And this election year, candidates have had to go a little bit out of their comfort zone in order to reach potential voters because a lot of younger people don't consume as much traditional media as the generations before them. And by younger people, I mean people younger than 40. Luckily or unluckily, depending on where you stand, politicians have been meeting many voters where they hang out. For Trump, that means courting Elon Musk and having him dance around on stage like an idiot in order to secure the libertarian tech-bro votes. I could throw a couple other words in there, but I won't.
Yeah.
Or appearing on Aiden Ross's podcast in order to secure the coveted 13 to 17-year-old boy vote.
Great job, sir.
Real good use of your time. For Kamala Harris, that has meant going on podcasts that are highly popular with millennial and Gen Z women. And for some reason, appearing on Howard Stern in order to secure the whack pack and elderly Democrat vote. And maybe take a ride on the city.
Oh my God. Okay. Well,
that's what his guts do. I don't know what's the problem. All right, let's see the whole 360. TOPLESS.
You'll do it when you get up. We're gonna have Ronnie the limo driver call in and Beetlejuice stuff.
Incredibly bizarre to me that Howard Stern has managed to clean up his image to this point.
That's what I'm saying. His show is primarily listened to by like elderly Democrats, and
that's fucking weird.
And aging comedians.
It used to be like New York City construction workers and people who it's what happened?
Madam Vice President, we come in here. We got a girl set up and ready to. You're gonna do butthole ring toss. Now for Tim Walz, however, this has meant appearing live on Twitch in a way that will hopefully secure.
No. Is he playing Crazy Taxi?
That would be great. Now, in a way that will hopefully secure the ADHD-riddled gamer vote, because he recently broadcast a rally alongside a streamer playing World of Warcraft. Side by side. All the kids love
at least it's not Subway Surfers.
Now, it is pretty cringe, but hey, whatever works. And the fact that he's done this collaboration has blessed us with a truly incredible piece of media from Fox News, which we will get to in a second. But first, with more on this gamer outreach, here's the New York Times. Vice President Kamala Harris's campaign bridged the real world with the World of Warcraft on Wednesday, live streaming Governor Tim Walz's rally in Arizona via Twitch, while a Twitch streamer played the role-playing game and provided commentary about his rally. Preheat, a Twitch streamer and World of Warcraft player with about 50,000 followers, hosted the stream from the Harris campaign's account and encouraged the viewers to vote for her.
The screen was split with Mr. Walz's rally in Tucson on the left and gameplay on the right. The stream mimicked a tactic used to gin up visual interest in short-form video content, such as putting gameplay from Subway Surfers, a mobile game, side by side with something else. The Harris campaign has used this trick, posting a TikTok in which Subway Surfers gameplay was placed next to a clip of Mr. Trump discussing the overturn of Roe v. Wade. Preheat occasionally butted in with commentary on the game or the election. Project 2025, not good, very weird, Preheat said about the conservative playbook Democrats often criticize as he attacked the boss in World of Warcraft. Later, he spoke over Mr. Walz's speech, wondering about his character. Wait, am I dying? Whether or not this tactic will add any votes to the Harris campaign is anyone's guess.
Probably not.
It did result in some truly surreal reactions from Fox News, where one of their hosts, Janine Pirro, tried to explain what was going on in a way that only a person in their mid-70s could.
Yeah.
So please enjoy.
I had to look up the World of Warcraft because I didn't know what it was. And I found out that it is like this video game, and I think they wanted to be cool with Walz. And so they have a kid playing this Warcraft game, video game, it's up on the screen, while Walz is speaking. Walz doesn't learn the game, he doesn't play the game, he doesn't do anything with the game. They just have this thing up there while Walz is speaking. So you got this World of Warcraft video game that's 20 years old, and it's not even, by the way, in the top 15 games now. And
You did a deep
you gotta have Walz, who doesn't even go to war. He ditches the battalion before war and can't even make believe he's playing in a war.
All right, so we consider that a win. Just because they got Fox News talking about it in a completely detached and surreal way. And just for reference, Tim Walz is a gamer. We've been over this. He was so addicted to Crazy Taxi that his Dreamcast had to be taken away from him. Tim, you're gonna ruin your life.
He voluntarily gave it away.
Yeah.
He sold it to one of his students. Take this away to a state college, far, far away from here.
Just like Jimmy Carter's peanut farm, he will have to give up video games during the administration.
We've never had a gamer president, and we never will.
But let's take a moment to check in on Donald Trump, who is absolutely as lucid and as comprehensible as ever.
Looking and sounding great.
In one clip, he's seen speaking in Detroit, where he claimed in front of people who ostensibly live in Detroit that if he loses the election, the whole country will turn into Detroit.
Brilliant, fucking brilliant. I love this so much. If I lose, this whole country's gonna be a fucking shithole. It's gonna be, folks, it's gonna be like Detroit.
Yeah. Masterful game.
Where am I again? Shit.
Here's the clip.
The whole country is going to be like, you want to know the truth? It'll be like Detroit. Our whole country will end up being like Detroit if she's your president. You're going to have a mess on your hand.
And then there was a clip of him where he continued his war on wind. In this clip, calling the wind bullshit.
The wind, it sounds so wonderful. The wind is bullshit. I'll tell you, it's horrible.
But while he's always a clip machine, here's some news that should actually bother you about Trump somehow getting back into the White House. During the peak of the pandemic, Donald Trump rerouted vital testing supplies from U.S. distributors, clinics, and hospitals and sent them directly to Vladimir Putin. And this came to light in a new book by Bob Woodward, who has written some of the most detailed books about the Trump presidency in recent years and was also, of course, one of the reporters who broke Watergate back in the 70s. So with more on this bizarre and potentially traitorous deal, here's the Associated Press. Vice President Harris is criticizing Donald Trump following new reporting by the journalist Bob Woodward that the former president secretly shared COVID-19 test machines with Russia's Vladimir Putin at a moment in 2020 when tests were out of reach for most Americans. The revelation, first reported by CNN and the Washington Post on Tuesday, is detailed in a forthcoming book called War by the famed Watergate journalist about Trump's record on the international stage as well as President Biden's.
According to the book, Trump sent the secret shipment of testing equipment to the Russian leader at the height of the pandemic in 2020, even as the U.S. and other nations were facing crippling shortages of testing kits. I don't want you to tell anybody because people will get mad at you, not me. They don't care about me, Putin told Trump, according to the book. Trump responded, I don't care, fine, according to Woodward. NPR has not independently verified the account, which was based on interviews with unnamed sources. Asked about the report during an interview Tuesday with Howard Stern, Harris said Woodward's reporting was an example of why Trump cannot be trusted as commander-in-chief, because she said he is easily manipulated by authoritarians he hopes to befriend. The Trump campaign has dismissed the book as made-up stories written by a deranged man, according to a statement by its communications director, Stephen Chung. Odd job. It is a relationship that appears to have continued even after Trump left the White House, according to Woodward, who reports that the former president may have spoken to Putin as many as 7 times since Biden took office. In one episode reported by Woodward, Trump ordered an aide away from his office at Mar-a-Lago in order to take a private call with Putin early in 2024. What the fuck? What?
Seems like it would be a big issue.
That's pretty fucking wild.
Yeah, we're currently...
We'll get you the testing.
We're not at war. We're in a proxy war.
Also, did they say how, what's the quantity we're talking about here with, the testing equipment?
So, I don't know, but the fact that it was at the height of the pandemic when people in the U.S. were unable to get this stuff makes it pretty damning.
But it's I can't imagine they shipped more than what could have been used by maybe just Putin himself and a few people around him.
Yeah, I don't know.
Interesting.
But let's round out today's episode with some hurricane updates. And while the damage to the southern states continues to grow, we should probably point out something very, very important. One of the Trump campaign's goals for their next term, if he were to win, is that the Trump administration would do away with or heavily fund a ton of vital government programs, one of which is the NOAA, or National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, which is the government agency that has provided vital, life-saving information and tracking to citizens of these southeastern states during these major storms. PBS NewsHour recently did a report detailing the plans to dismantle agencies like the NOAA and others, and here's some of that reporting. Project 2025 is the Conservative Heritage Foundation's policy blueprint for a Republican administration. Trump has disavowed it, but it was written by several former Trump administration officials. In 2022, when Trump gave a keynote speech at a heritage event in Florida, he said the organization would lay the groundwork and detail plans for exactly what our movement will do. So again, despite him claiming that he wants nothing to do with it, this is the plan that they have in place for the Republican Party.
Yeah.
Just because he tries to distance himself because it's bad press, and he's at least
Heritage, they overplayed their hand.
Yeah.
They got overconfident and just they put it out there and people read it and were like, oh my God, this is crazy. And they're like, oh wait, you weren't supposed to see that.
And by the way, Trump's Agenda 47 makes a lot of the same
goddamn thing.
Yeah, so this is the plan.
Project 2025 includes about 4 pages on NOAA and the National Weather Service. That part was written by Thomas F. Gilman, who was an official in Trump's Commerce Department. The document describes NOAA as a primary component of the climate change alarm industry and said it should be broken up and downsized. The National Weather Service, one of 6 NOAA offices, provides weather and climate forecasts and warnings. The National Hurricane Center is part of the National Weather Service within NOAA. Project 2025 would not outright end the National Weather Service. It says the agency should focus on its data gathering services and should fully commercialize its forecasting operations. It said that commercialization of the weather technologies should be prioritized to ensure that taxpayer dollars are invested in the most cost-efficient technologies for high-quality research and weather data. Investing in commercial partners will increase competition, Project 2025 said. Yeah, national weather reports sounds like communism. Which, yeah, as we explained to you earlier this week, this is a horrible idea because that plan has the potential or the goal of restricting vital information about storms like these to people who are willing to pay for the most up-to-date and detailed info and forecasts. For a deeper dive on what that would look like, John Oliver did a huge deep dive on an episode of Last Week Tonight about the privatization of weather reporting. We'll link to it down below alongside the PBS report.
Yeah. All right, now to the sort of funny or at least ridiculous side of the most recent storm. In the wake of Hurricane Helene, we saw a few very bad examples of AI-generated art being passed off as real in order to demonize the current administration for the made-up failures in disaster relief aid. The most notable was the image of a young girl crying while holding a puppy in floodwater.
It's still real to me.
Yeah, well, this latest hurricane has done the opposite with AI creations in a way that rightfully mocks those who tried to pass off the other AI images as legitimate. Images have now surfaced that include alligators wearing life preservers rescuing children on the water, the Disney character Pluto rescuing a child from floodwaters in Disney World while wearing a skirt,
woke,
and kids rescuing actual dinosaurs. I mean, it's absolutely insane, but it's at least a decent demonstration of why this is all so stupid.
And unfortunately, there are definitely people out there who saw these pictures and was like, damn, I didn't know dinosaurs were real.
Well, that's the hurricane finally revealed their
I always knew Pluto was a real one, though.
Yeah.
I always liked that Pluto.
Not goofy, though.
I just wish he wouldn't wear that dress.
Not that goofy. Not after what he did as president of the United States.
No, no, no. These images and more have been proliferating online, mostly under posts that read, I can't believe the images I am seeing coming out of Florida today. Or just straight up copies of the original text above the girl and the puppy, but added above completely surreal imagery. I don't know where this photo came from, and honestly, it doesn't matter. It is seared into my mind forever. Or heartbreaking images, all above dinosaurs, aliens, dogs rescuing people, and Disney characters. Truly incredible stuff that, while made with AI, at least pushes back on the previous debunked images that were passed off as legitimate by boomers on Facebook. My favorite ones were the ones where Trump was like personally rescuing people. Yeah. Like waist deep in water.
Yeah.
What's Sleepy Joe doing? He's not out there personally rescuing people like Donald Trump is in this very real photograph that I just saw.
And as we saw, the responses that people were sending to their parents and grandparents of, this isn't real, it's AI generated. And
but it feels real.
The response back being, I don't care, it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
So, dangerous stuff.
The fact that I thought it really says a lot about the way things are.
Anyways, that's it for today's episode. We'll be back with maybe some robo-taxi news. Are your Teslas ready to start making you money? But yeah, if you like the video first.
Yes.
Leave a comment below. Talk about anything we discussed today. Put your favorite LinkedIn lunatic in the comments section below and let people do the work of voting up their favorite. Also, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. There's also a thank button, a join button if you want to contribute. Now, there's some videos for you to watch. We got the Cybertruck Copmobile. It's doing all the dirty work down there in Irvine.
It's not, though. It's really not.
Hey, everyone. MWIII Review Tano here, the internet's moviest movie nerd. Yeah, it's time for something I do every once in a blue moon on this channel, and that's review a movie. This movie over here that I'm talking about has been quite polarizing, highly discussed, plus It's a musical. I mean, that kind of like puts it in my turf, you know? I mean, why not? I'm a music guy. I could review a musical. I don't see why not. Couldn't hurt. But no, in fact, the process of watching this movie did hurt. It hurt a lot.
That was a close
Before
one.
I get deeper into this review, I want to say two things. One, there are going to be spoilers in this video, big, fat, gigantic spoilers. So if you hope to see it, maybe don't go any further. We also have a sponsor for this video, the good people over at Bombas. Here we go.
You may not know this about me, but I've been into fashion for quite some time. I've got hats, I've got flannels, I've got pants, I've got flannels, I've got shorts, I've got more flannels. But the one thing that I've always been missing, one thing I've never had in my entire life, was a nice pair of socks. Oh my God, how long I've gone without a nice pair. That's why today's video is sponsored by the good people over at Bombas. Bombas is the premier destination for socks, t-shirts, and underwear. It has all of your essentials in one place, and every piece of clothing is made with your comfort in mind. The socks, as you can see, are also very good at distracting my good special friend Cal here. The pair that I got him over here has that vintage striped minimalist aesthetic that I love, but what I appreciate most about Bombas is that their company's mission goes beyond style. They're also committed to making a difference, which is why for every piece of clothing that you buy, they donate another for someone in need. So why not feel good and also do good with Bombas? Knowing your purchase is making a difference. New customers can also get 20% off their first order. Just go to bombas.com/Fantano and use code Fantano20. Again, that's Fantano20 at checkout. And thank you to Bombas for sponsoring this video.
Thank you, me, for doing such a well-executed sponsorship in this video. Let's go on with the rest of the review. Yeah, again, if you've spent any amount of time online peeping the discourse around this film, you know the reception has not been all that positive. But I went into this movie with maybe some high hopes for it because of a few different factors. One, full disclosure, I was never a massive fan of the first Joker film with Joaquin Phoenix. I mean, it ends well enough, and I feel like the entire second half of the film is pretty great, but the lead up and setup that brings us to that point, personally, I found very dull, even if Phoenix's acting throughout the film is pretty great. On top of that, again, there was like this music tie-in there of Lady Gaga, who sometimes I mess with some Lady Gaga, and the entire idea of like switching up the film genre in a way for the sequel seemed like a really wild and out there risk. Maybe it's a case where it's just like normies hating the film because it's too out there and it's not what they expected it to be. But no, in fact, this movie sucks. This sucks. However, what's kind of interesting is this is one of the few films that I could think of where I think it actually wanted to suck. Actually, I would say it's quite transparent that the writers and the director of this film didn't really want it to be enjoyed, especially by a particular group of people. The supposedly huge and very loud and annoying social media-based fandom for this film that many film and cultural critics, both professional and amateur, sort of have categorized as being lonely, sad, incel-type men. And to rewind a bit here and talk about this discourse around the first Joker movie, personally, I found it really annoying and kind of obnoxious on both sides of this coin because obviously I don't think the Joker movie was intended specifically to appeal to angry, sad incels. On top of it, deciding to not like or distance yourself from or negatively review a movie because of the crowd of people that it might appeal to, it's frankly just kind of whack and a really shitty way to interact with art, because there are tons and tons and tons of films and pieces of popular media that have been adhered to by people with less than good political intentions or heinous ideologies. Am I supposed to like ignore every single one of them? Avoid them completely out of fear that Out of fear of what? Like, if I watch the Joker movie enough times, is it going to turn me into an incel? Like, what exactly are we afraid of here? Because, again, there are conservatives who like Rage Against the Machine, transphobes and right-wing red pillars who are heavily into the Matrix trilogy. And we, and when I say we, I mean well-adjusted people, don't allow that to prevent us from enjoying those pieces of media or acknowledge the things about them that are good. So why should we do that with Joker? And while this was very much the dominant back and forth around the film on the internet, what I feel like is important to remember is that this likely represents the minority of experiences collectively that people had around the film. What I'm trying to say here is that your average person probably just went into the movie expecting it just to be a comic book movie, enjoyed themselves, thought it was cool, thought it was well shot and written, acted, whatever, and just didn't glean any of this incel shit or anti-incel shit from it and just went about their lives afterwards. Which is why, personally, I think it's kind of weird that the filmmakers here would base almost the entire creative process of this sequel around that discourse, because quite transparently, that's what Folie à Deux is. Pretty much everything about the film is designed to piss this incel audience off or piss off anybody who just doesn't want to have this discourse projected onto them from the storyline, which I will quickly spoil right now because it's really basic, drawn out, and this movie, by the way, did not need to be 2 fucking hours. You could have easily told this story in one. I don't even think this movie should have been 90 minutes. This could have been a short, honestly. But ultimately, for reasons that are not very well spelled out through the film, Joaquin Phoenix, or Arthur Fleck, in the midst of this trial that it pretty much seems like from the outset he's gonna lose. He pretty much decides, like, Joker is bad, I don't want to be Joker, I am not Joker, I actually am the guy who did all those things, I don't want to be this Joker character, I reject it. And saying that openly pretty much pisses off all of Joker's loyal followers and cult members who, if you guys remember, were pretty much portrayed as being obsessed with him at the end of the first movie. Lady Gaga's character is obviously a member of this contingent. She's completely head over heels for Joker, which, mind you, in her head is pretty much not Arthur Fleck. So the moment that he smashes this facade, she loses interest in him, as do many of his followers. And this leads to Arthur Fleck just getting unceremoniously fucking shivved in the stomach at the end of the movie, at the end of 2 goddamn hours, and then he just bleeds out and dies. And again, it's made very, very clear that all of these people obsessed with Joker are supposed to be the exact incel weirdo types that everybody's talking about being obsessed with this movie. So again, it becomes clear this entire film just exists to look that group of people directly in the eye and say, fuck you. Which, honestly, is kind of obnoxious, because with something as huge and as big budget and as far-reaching as a film, there's not really a way to do that surgically, because you're inadvertently also saying fuck you to all of just the regular normal-ass people that wanted to see a cool Joker movie. And look, I think there may have been potentially interesting and creative ways of addressing this supposed incel obsession with the first film. And sure, maybe even playing it out in a way where the Joker's cult loses interest in him. That's a compelling narrative, sure. Did we have to do it in a way where we just make the movie unpalatable for everybody? With character motivations that make no sense, with narrative plots that are just too goddamn on the nose, with all these musical breaks that are not very well sung sometimes, and considering the mission of the film, come across as just really insincere and crass. Furthermore, what's kind of offensive is like a lot of great old school vocal jazz and soul type songs are being used throughout the film in just like a really gross way. These renditions aren't being engaged in as a means of like celebrating the music they're based off of. They're being thrown into the mix with the hope of, oh man, I bet this is gonna piss off the incels. Yeah, I haven't even really gotten that deep into the music yet, but I will say the incorporation of musical elements at the start of the movie is actually okay and low-key makes sense. These breaks throughout the film are kind of portrayed as being a part of Arthur Fleck's psychosis, and it sort of seems like a thing that he's experiencing, but the world around him isn't. It's mostly just in his head, and it's only people who are as crazy as him, like Lady Gaga, who are in on the Joker fantasy, that sort of seem to be in it with him. But these musical numbers really start to get very tacky and go completely off the rails, to the point where we're getting a musical number where they're doing like a Sonny and Cher bit, and then another one where they're trying to do like a big, almost like soul rock spiritual number with Lady Gaga on the keys, and she's doing her best tacky ass soul singer performance. And then Joaquin Phoenix, who is mysteriously not singing all that much during this number, decides to do a fucking tap dance. So yeah, again, with the way the film starts, it kind of seems like there is some merit to going in a musical direction with it, but then as we move further into the film, these musical bits become less and less impressive, and ultimately the entire movie turns into like a shitty theater kid version of La La Land. But yeah, sadly the whole musical angle of this film is frankly just an abuse of the format, because again, it's not pulled off very well. Ultimately, it all just serves to make a film that its creators are very well aware is not good, because if it was, I don't think the movie would be packed with so many bad self-references, audaciously stupid scene ideas, and offensively cliched characters. Like Lady Gaga's character is essentially just the manic pixie dream girl turned up to 11 in the most obnoxious and unlikable way possible. Also, of course, one of the main guards at the prison in the movie, who we see all the time, is Irish. Oh, Arthur, do you have a joke for us today? Like, what the fuck is it with Hollywood just portraying cops and guards as Irish constantly? There's also a part where Lady Gaga or Harley Quinn puts Joker makeup on Arthur Fleck's face and then has him fuck her. Yeah, and you watch the whole sex scene. He essentially gets like 6 thrusts in and comes. I'll leave this review by saying Jazz didn't deserve this. Why'd you guys do jazz like this? Jazz, musicals, the whole institution of musical theater did not deserve this. They really did the whole genre wrong, and I feel bad for anybody who has very little or no experience with musicals, who might have this be like their first, time with one. You might actually get the impression that they suck and that they're annoying, and that they might be out to low-key piss off the audience, people watching them. When no, that is not the case. There are a lot of amazing, sincere, well-executed musicals out there, and look, I'm not even a big musical guy, and yet I could see very clearly how badly this film was going about executing this format. But yeah, Joker, Folly of You, this movie sucked. Kind of seemed like that was the point, so good job making a movie that nobody wants. You totally nailed it.
All objectives are under enemy control. Taking Bravo.
Up here,
like, do you hear yourself, man? Do you hear the words that are coming out of your mouth? How self-indulgent. He wants to live in a James Bond novel. That's what it is.
Securing objective, Charlie.
I was trying to... Oh, this is how you know we're back in 2016, baby. We got these, like, documentary style videos coming in from the British. The British are coming. They're going to do documentaries on American animals, okay?
Thanks, how are you? All right. You a citizen? No, I've got a visa. Oops. What's that? I've got a visa and here's my driver's license. I'm a German. We got flyovers!
Enemy securing Bravo.
Having our documents checked. Contact!
So by law, you do have to have your green card on you, okay?
Okay. So next time when you come to a checkpoint or go visit.
Damn, why are they letting him in if he doesn't have the proper paperwork? I wonder why.
To the border or something. Make sure it's on you, okay? Okay, we didn't know that. It's never happened. Or in any other country in the world.
With border crossings reaching record highs in recent years, immigration has returned as this election.
Yeah, they got the copyright-free like banjo music and everything, dude. We're in. Can you explain why? Because he's white. What do you mean? Can you explain why?
Toxic issue.
Millions and millions of people have come into our country and nobody has any idea where they're from.
Donald Trump is continuing to push conspiratorial racist tropes.
They're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats.
And even more extreme policies.
We're going to have the largest deportation effort in history.
Meanwhile, the Democrats have responded by shifting further to the right.
If someone does not make an asylum request at a legal point of entry, they will be barred from receiving asylum.
We've come to southern Arizona, near the border with Mexico, to try and unpick facts from misinformation.
All objectives secured. Dig in and maintain. We're losing Alpha. Friendly mosquito.
Dude, this is, oh my god. Please. They're getting so much grosser. The more comfortable they get, the more comfortable they get, the grosser they are. On me. Oh god, this man, he's bulbous. I love him.
We're at a meeting of the Pima County Republican Party, which is a county that covers Tucson. This is a big car rally. Not people to the border.
The border's got to get closed up. Those people that are breaking the laws of this country that came across here illegal are going to be mass deported.
Mass deportations, that's what Trump's calling for.
Yes.
That's millions of people.
Well, the people that are here illegally. I don't have any problem with people coming here. My grandparents came here.
Taking fire.
I don't care. I think it has to happen. I think citizens have to be behind it.
How do you think it's possible to do that to mainly?
I don't know that, but I'm confident Trump can do it.
If you're a Mexican American, what do you think about Trump's border policy?
I love it. I love it. I'm 100% for it.
Do you know anybody that crossed the border without applying for green card?
Oh, yes. Unfortunately, I have no family members. They did. Cousins, nephews.
I hate my cousins. Do you understand? I hate them. Please, Trump, deport my cousins right now.
Those people might be deported if someone comes in.
That's okay. That's okay.
How long have they been here for?
Free, dude. Free. Absolute free. Okay. Soft shell flour tortilla enjoyer. Can you calm down? I enjoy a flour tortilla over a corn tortilla. You will never hear me say that. I genuinely don't get it. They have immediate family members. Dog, how many chatters have to tell you that their dads are undocumented and they still, if they could vote, would vote for Donald Trump? For you to be like, maybe these people respond to some other that Trump is saying. I'm telling you right now, first of all, there's a couple different factors at play. Obviously, reactionary mindset doesn't matter. Like there's no self-preservation instinct in that situation. Some people have I got mine, so I'll oppose. Other people do not have the capacity to think about how devastating it would be if her favorite cousins got deported. And last but not least, the most significant part of this is that if one party is not responding to any of their interests, okay, and the other party is at least saying like, no, you're right, you're just for training your children, or whatever or that like, Democrats want to abort all of the all the babies. Democrats want to deport every baby, or abort every baby. That type of. They're responding to that at the very least.
Years, like 20, some like 30 years.
And so you think the members of your own family who've been here for 30 years should be deported?
Yeah. Yes. I mean, they can be deported, but they can also apply to come back against the United States, but do it the right way.
How do you think they feel about you saying that?
Oh, they would be very angry. They are angry at me right now. They don't talk to me because I Trump.
Yeah, because you're insane, dude. Yeah, no wonder they don't talk to you, dude. You're crazy. Of course they don't want to talk to you. You just said you'd be fine with them getting deported after living here for 30 years. You're psychopathic freak. This is like failing basic competency, okay? Basic, like, she is failing the human cognition test. This is the party of family values, by the way, okay? When you are a family values guy and you, like, immediately say, like, oh, my daughter is trans and now she's dead to me because of that. Like, no, you're a animal, dude. Oh, my family members are undocumented. I don't give a if they're violently apprehended and kicked away from the country that they've called their home for the past 30 years. You have failed in like being a human being. You failed in the first step of that project. People that are closest to you, your kin, you are casting aside for a political project like this. It's disgusting, actually disgusting. And I think a big part of that is because she's a bad person. Okay, I don't like the way you get bad dynamic, but like ultimately, that's it. That's what it is. Like, this is You're a bad person if you are this callous in your indifference to violence that your immediate family members are going to be subjected to, and you're actively championing said violence. You're a bad person.
Lovely to meet you. Thank you so much.
You too. Thank you for what you're doing. Thank you.
Okay. We've been making these films for a long time, and I don't think I've ever heard anybody say that. And it shows to you how far the right this issue has come and how far to the right this party has gone.
As the car rally lurched into action, we hit the British man shot.
First rule of summer camp.
At the American, at the undying, untapped well of American advocacy for violence. Like how much more violent can an American get? We're here to find out. Turns out unlimited violence. Okay? Sometimes to their immediate family members.
Hitched a ride with Party Secretary Steve Selvey.
There's a legal process.
Replace Latino with Muslim and maybe we get it. I mean, I don't know. This guy's probably woke, but I don't think he's like that. Not all Brits are like that. It is funny though that a British guy from a British publication is in the United States of America shocked at how reactionary Americans have become on the issue of immigration. You're one of the most important of the narratives taking the stage finally. Thank you. Please all the Blue City team now. Well, the Blue City Republicans are literally the worst in this country. They're the biggest group. Republicans in an otherwise blue enclave are some of the most rabid freaks that you've ever met. They are significantly worse than like a regular Republican in a Republican neighborhood in a Republican state. Yeah, they should be coming in here legally, brother. Also, we got the president saying he's going to make the legal migrants in the country illegal. So how does that work? How the does that work, man? Oh, I guess it's just paperwork at that point. Paperwork to enforce white supremacy, which is at the heart of Donald Trump's white nativist anti-immigrant agenda. How do you change the perception of undocumented immigrants when we shifted so far right on this? All it takes is for people to say the truth. That's it. At the top of the hour, there's a 3-minute ad break. That's the truth. If you don't want to see those ads, you got to subscribe. That's also the truth, okay? If I lied to you and acted like it didn't exist, maybe after a while you would still see the 3-minute ads at the top of the hour, but you'd be like, why the f am I seeing it? You'd get more and more angry. You'd be like, how do I avoid it? No answers. You become more reactionary. Here's a 3-minute ad break now.
Democrats talk about it's their goal to replace the white majority, and then if you bring it up, they're upset with you for noticing. But it's
and is that a concern that you've got about the white majority of this country?
Not white, because they want to make it a racial issue. I'm concerned that the plan is to bring in a bunch of new Democrat voters. We hear reports that there are terror cells setting up here. When you're not vetting people. I'm sorry.
Where are you seeing those reports? I definitely haven't seen them.
You haven't seen those?
No.
I'd have to find that for you because I've seen it.
The views here are mainstream in the Republican Party. And in a political climate that's become increasingly hostile, groups like Humane Borders have stepped in. For years, they've placed water stations for migrants crossing the desert, even as far-right militia and border authorities have tried to obstruct their work.
Mayor has been alleged to have vandalized several water aid stations that were positioned in rural Pima County.
We have to block them now.
Why is that?
To keep vigilantes from doing nasty stuff to the water. It's probably down a quarter or so.
This trail is one of my patch jobs. It's been standard shot quite a few times. You can see I've used the hot glue gun on it a few times.
Obviously, there is a fentanyl crisis in this country at the moment. Some people would say that smuggling routes around here, you know, are contributing to that. I just wonder whether you worry about that.
The vast, vast majority of the fentanyl that comes in through ports of entry. It doesn't come across, you know, illegal crossings through the border. It comes across Americans, driving it across in their trucks, cars, whatever. So I don't think that what we do here contributes to the fentanyl problem.
There you are.
Just a few hundred yards away, Joel showed me where he recently found the body of a young Mexican woman.
We've walked about 300 yards. And already doing 60 miles.
I love that this guy, going back as I was kissing, I love this shit was like, the Democrats want to make the country less white by letting in migrants. And then he's like, it's not a race issue, but they yell at you for noticing. It's like, what do you mean? It's not a, you just said it.
I'm concerned that they're
like majority of this country.
Not why, because they want to make it a racial issue.
You just said it. You just said it. Like,
there's a legal process. Okay. Obviously, there's a. We expect some of that. We have Democrats talk about it's their goal to replace the white majority, and then if you bring it up, they're upset with you for noticing. But
like how? How do you say that? And then go, and they are the ones making it a race issue. I'm just noticing. Did you hear the next guy? Yeah, he said Trump. Oh.
And is that a concern that you've got about the white majority of this country?
Not white, because they want to make it a racial issue. I'm concerned that the plan is to bring in a bunch of new Democrat voters. We hear reports that there are terror cells setting up here.
Yeah, dude, they're gonna blow up the Chuck E. Cheese in Tucson. Like, do you hear yourself, man? Do you hear the words that are coming out of your mouth? How self-important. Yeah, Tucson, Arizona is under grave threat by Hezbollah, dude. You dumb. Shut up.
Grenade, what's up?
You want to live in a James Bond novel. That's what it is. Half of these guys are just like hallucinating an alternative reality because they feel like it would be sick if they lived in said reality, and that they're fighting against this thing that they hallucinate. Hezbollah is coming to my town in Tucson, Arizona, because they hate the fact that I have freedom to eat $5 jalapeno poppers whenever I feel like it. That's right, baby. That's right. I'm gonna fight against them with my AR-15 I got.
When you're not vetting people.
UAV on station.
I'm sorry.
Where are you seeing those reports? I definitely haven't seen them.
You haven't seen those?
No.
I'd have to find them.
The views here are mainstream in the Republican Party, and in a political
and the Democratic Party
climate that's become increasingly hostile, groups like Humane Borders have stepped in. For years, they've placed water stations for migrants crossing the desert, even as far-right militia and
Friendly UAV on station.
From teaching their young female fans how to twerk on video call
Launched a cruise missile.
to making a minor put a hand down their pants as a part of a live show.
On deck.
I can't believe I'm reaching in there right now.
There have been countless YouTubers whose blatant predatory behavior has led to the destructive downfall of their public image and their career. Hi, I'm the Internet Anarchist. I create weekly YouTube documentaries, and today we'll be diving deep into the incidents that expose beloved YouTubers as predators, starting with none other than Wilbur Soot. Wilbur first gained success with collaborative Minecraft videos on the Dream SMP, garnering over 6 million YouTube subscribers and 4.7 million followers on Twitch. His indie rock band Lovejoy also won multiple awards and performed to packed venues worldwide. Wilbur's superstar status was on a path to grow even more. That was until two of his ex-girlfriends came out with some horrifying allegations against him. It all started on February 21st, 2024, when creator Shelby Shovel posted a stream titled Talking About Something More Serious. During the stream, she revealed that she was emotionally and physically by an unnamed ex. Most notably, this ex had a habit of biting her, and not in the playful way.
He had this habit of biting, which is so weird to me now, but he said that he had this habit since he was a kid, and even his mom said that that was true.
They'd even agreed on a safe word for when the biting got too aggressive.
So we were gonna use a safe word, so he could learn where my limit was, where my pain tolerance ended. And saying that out loud now doesn't sound like that's not very sound logic.
But the behavior escalated, forcing her to use the safe word every time. But sometimes that wasn't even enough.
Now at this point, weaponized the safe word and was using it to ensure that I was hurt and on a constant basis. And he wasn't sorry anymore.
And while she didn't give out a name, viewers quickly identified Wilbur as the one she was talking about. And this wasn't just speculation either. For starters, Wilbur was also British, just like the ex-show we mentioned. More importantly, Wilbur had a habit of biting, something that other people like Nikki and Rihanna had previously brought up.
Will bites me sometimes, and I get so many bruises all the time from him biting me.
I thought you were saying that you bite people.
No, Will bites me.
On February 28, 2024, Wilbur made a tweet which confirmed that he was the one Shelby was talking about. Reading, in the past week, a series of allegations have been made of my conduct from an ex-girlfriend. Though it wasn't much of an apology, as he basically denied the abuse allegations in a roundabout way. Reading, the allegation of abuse, particularly in the form of biting, deeply shocked me. Throughout our relationship, this behavior was consensual, playful, and reciprocally enjoyed. Soon after Shovel's story went public, another victim of Wilbur came forward. On the 9th of March 2024, Alice shared her experience of dating Wilbur back in 2019. She mentioned his toxic behavior and also confirmed the biting allegation, stating, I have also experienced a biting habit, which already had been elaborated on by Shelby. But the worst part of her allegations was about when the two met up again in 2021, after their breakup. Reading, I ended up blacking out in his bed due to the alcohol, but the last thing I remember was him non-consensually removing my clothes, unquote. This was the end of Wilbur's career, as everything he'd built over the years came crashing down. He lost over 250,000 subscribers in only a month, and his channel has only continued to decline. Wilbur's actions permanently stained his career and future, though despite the internet's vicious backlash, he never faced legal repercussions and flew under the radar of the authorities. However, the next person on this list wasn't lucky enough to dodge prison time. Austin started his YouTube channel in 2007, gaining massive support in the beginning for his a cappella style rock song covers. He eventually began creating original music, which was also a huge success. During this time, he gained over 500,000 subscribers and over 41 million views. But everything was about to fall apart, as his channel would be banned from YouTube. It all started going downhill on the 10th of May 2015, when PubFresh published an article revealing evidence of the singer's inappropriate behavior with his young followers. The article also discussed Austin's inappropriate chats with a 13-year-old. Reading, he sent me a video of him teaching me how to twerk. He said, okay, now it's your turn. I didn't think he actually wanted real twerking video, especially since I was effing 13. Austin even gave her step-by-step instructions, asking her to twerk for him.
Hey kid, so this is like the first basic twerk move. So this is what you do.
1 minute remaining.
You stand with your legs apart, You bend your leg, and you arch your leg, and you bend your leg, you do it faster, safer. That's your joke.
If that wasn't disgusting enough, there was another young girl that he was allegedly going after during the same time.
Hi, my name is Aurora, and this is a story about how Austin Jones wanted me to work for him.
Aurora was only 14 at the time when Austin sent her similarly explicit instructions on what he wanted from her.
So it's like this.
Considering the amount of chat screenshots that surfaced, it's safe to assume he had even more victims. If he didn't speak up fast, his career would be doomed. So, on the 28th of June 2015, Austin released a video addressing the allegations, titled Setting the Record Straight. During the video, he straight up admitted to soliciting twerk videos from fans.
I've recently come under some fire on social media for mistakes I've made in the past. I used to ask fans for twerking videos. Yes, twerking, the dance move. It's not something that I'm proud of. It's not something that I think is right. And I shouldn't have done it.
However, he conveniently left out details about their ages. He also claimed that the twerking videos were the extent of his actions.
There are a lot of rumors and a lot of lies. They're just not true. Nothing ever went further than twerking videos.
He then spent the majority of the 16-minute video trying to deflect attention from his actions by talking about his traumatic past.
I experienced death and loss at a very young age. I had an older sister. She passed away when she was 10 years old. I was 6 years old at the time. My father was an alcoholic and a drug addict, and he couldn't get control of his life because of it.
He even tried using it as an excuse for his horrible actions.
All of these life events